Hey guys, Dee.
And Dee Beef.
Alright, let's talk about Sony's conference.
Soner.
Soner. Alright, so it opens up with this big orchestra.
Yeah, that was something that I honestly didn't expect to see was orchestra and an actual big ass curtain. And they did it in a theater, and that was cool.
Yeah, that was interesting. It gave it a unique look. Every single one of these conferences were
Classy.
Unique. Yeah, very classy. We'll talk about the uniqueness of each panel in our wrap up later on. But it starts with Kratos Lothbrok was my notes. Okay, so
I have quite a bit of things to talk about this, but I want you to go first.
I will just go. You go first, and I'll talk about some stuff with you.
Well, first of all, I'm glad that the Norse mythology Kratos, God of War, is true. I'm partially both surprised and not surprised that it turned out to be Kratos. I was thinking, I'm not surprised it's Kratos because he's the mascot of the franchise, but I'm also because I assumed since different Pantheon they'd introduce a new character,
Yeah.
to be the main character. But I love Kratos, so I'm okay with that. Him and his crazy brutality.
Yeah, it was.
In the trailer or in the gameplay footage or in the demonstration, he was revealed that he has a young son now, which is a very interesting character development for Kratos of all people.
Yeah, considering what happened to his family before. It's interesting that he kept asking his son things as if he didn't know him. Like he probably fathered this kid, fucked off, came back kind of situation.
Yeah, and now he feels responsible, and he probably sees this as a way to repent for his past.
Yeah.
And it'll be very interesting to see his relationship with his boy.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be really fucking cool.
And it's interesting to see the kid learn stuff. And I wonder if this game is going to have maybe this kid grow up. Are we going to see this kid's life?
He's probably going to die.
Oh, no.
He's going to probably die early on in the game, and then Kratos' rage will be what makes him want to take vengeance. Yeah, but...
Vengeance!
Honestly, I would rather the kid, survive through at least most of the game so that they could introduce some really interesting mechanics there. With it being, almost escort mission-y, but, good.
Yeah.
And the kid's actually useful to some degree.
Yeah, because he ended up helping Kratos with the arrow at one point. Yeah. But that was during a cutscene. It's very hard to tell what's cutscene and what's not.
Seamless transitions.
Yeah, the transitions are seamless. It was kind of crazy with that. But yeah, I'm excited. I wrote, let me see what else I have in my notes here. I wrote Frozen Axe of Returning. Let's talk about his axe.
Yeah, he threw it into some guy and then it pinned some guy to a wall, and that guy ended up becoming encased in ice, and he held his hand out to the axe, and the axe flew back to him, and the guy fell off the wall and shattered into a million ice pieces. It was great. It was really cool.
The axe coming back to him reminded me of Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about him using new, crazy,
God weapons.
New god weapons from this Pantheon now. He doesn't just have his normal fucking, he doesn't have his normal bullshit, Chains of Olympus, stuff like that. He has
Olympus swords.
Yeah, he has a very Viking axe. So that was interesting.
And it also begs the question, is this even the same Kratos?
Yeah. He has a nice big beard.
He's the same Kratos in that he's essentially the same character design. Different costume, obviously. And
a beard.
But he's clearly still got that chalk white skin and the red paint on him.
He looks also, that the paint and all the paint on him looks faded too. There's parts of it that look like the paint is coming off of him. It's old. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if this is Kratos, how old is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I said interesting 100 times today.
And if it's a new Kratos, how do they explain the chalk skin this time around?
Yeah. I need to know more. What else did I write here? Badass fight. Was it pre-rendered? Cutscene? Live orchestra? Are they playing the soundtrack over the soundtrack? All right, so let's go pieces here. We talked about the pre-rendered. If it's a cutscene, the live orchestra playing a soundtrack over the soundtrack, and it was Bear McCreary, who you guys probably recognize from the Walking Dead soundtrack from the show. He was down there with his orchestra playing the whole night over gameplay footage. So he made everything seem more epic and stuff like that. So that was cool and interesting. They had this weird vision, like face cam, but like 4 different cameras on the side. They had a camera view of of the crowd watching. They had a camera view of the orchestra, a camera view of the person actually playing the game.
And then the big screen was the game itself.
Yeah, this wasn't really distracting because you can just focus in on the one thing. You can kind of look over there occasionally to see something, but it wasn't really distracting. And I get it. You have to have your guy playing so that it's not so that we're like it's not pre-rendered footage. But a lot of the stuff today and over the weekend looked like pre-rendered footage anyway.
They didn't put any of the little screens inside of the bigger screen, which
Yeah.
is a mistake a lot of people who use Facecam with Let's Plays make.
Yeah.
Like you typically want to put if at all possible, you want to put the actual gameplay and your face into separate windows so that you're not covering anything.
Yeah.
And that's what they did here. They had the 3 along the vertically along the right hand side, and then they had the big actual gameplay footage on the left, and it wasn't covered at all by any of the other little screens, and it was very good.
It was very good. It was neat. Mm-hmm. Neat is the word I like to use.
Tidy.
And it wasn't a distraction, like you said. Okay, so I thought that whole gameplay footage was interesting. He fought a big troll with lava coming out of his feet. The whole thing looks really cool. That drew me in right away. And the fact that they showed us that, they just started the presentation with that. You know?
A magical deer.
Yes, that's right, a white stag. And they had that happen, and then there was very little interruptions from presenters or programmers or anything like that. Or game devs. It was just occasionally you get a dev come out and go and talk very candidly. He wore a suit. He didn't wear a silly t-shirt trying to market something.
The press conference very much focused on the trailers and less on people talking about the game or what's in it. Instead, it was all show and no tell.
Yeah.
I mean, not all show.
Mostly show.
Like 98% show and maybe 2% tell.
It was very a stark contrast from the Ubisoft presentation that was all about Aisha. It became the Aisha show, where they were focusing very...
or look at us, we're Ubi, look how great we are.
Look how great Ubi is. Where this is like, PlayStation just kind of spoke for it, let the footage speak for itself. I thought even Xbox kind of had that, everybody's on screen talking too much kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I get it, you need this stuff explained, and that's understandable. I like when I get some stuff explained to me, and I like the rapid fire explanations they had at the PC Gamer, thing.
I really like that Sony seemed to understand what the audience was there for, and made sure to keep in line with that.
Yeah, there was at no point did they go, hey, you can watch movies on the PlayStation.
Even though I'm not hyped for every single game that they announced, the actual the production and the way that they put everything together, this is definitely the best showcase so far, based exclusively on how they put everything together and what they chose to focus on.
Yeah, they focus on fucking games, which is what we want. I got what I came for. So okay, the next one is Days Gone, and I wrote Biker Last of Us? Question mark? Yeah.
I made a joke about Retribution Ride to Hell.
Yes, you did. Finally, we're gonna get a game with bikers in it that is.
Which makes me sound like an asshole because later the gameplay footage was like, whoa.
Yeah, we'll get to talking about that. They just showed us a clip of this biker and his life before the zombies.
We might as well talk about it now so we don't have to circle back.
Yeah, let's go right into it then.
Yeah. The zombie... I love the way that they made the zombie horde move and look. Like, there's a scene where he's trying to find, I
think it's his brother?
I don't believe that the brother part is literal. I think it's they were part of the same gang.
They're in the gang, yeah. Hey, brother, yeah.
Yeah. So... he finally finds the guy. The guy ends up in a fucked situation and gets eaten by zombies, and the main character has to run the fuck away. But meanwhile, you have this gigantic horde of really each zombie is moving really realistically and creepily, and they're fucking bolting it.
It's like Mudmen times 10 from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, and they even break through a metal garage door at one point. Their weight is factored in when they're walking across a bridge. The bridge collapses. It all looks really good. There's one spot in that trailer where, he just effortlessly runs past them. I didn't really care for that, because I kind of broke the whole, holy shit, this is scary of it all. I literally jumped at one point, because I thought one was going to grab him. It was the way that they animated that many zombies at once chasing after this dude was scary.
It was it was the effect they wanted in that World War Z movie, but done right. Also, I noticed that the brother's name was Two Dog, and I thought it was funny because it was like 2 dogs is too few. We've learned about this.
Yeah, all right.
1 dog's not enough. 2 is too few.
I made a comment about like, oh, did they even try to come up with a name for him, or are they just like, well, what's the 3 Dog was popular, let's do that. But then it was like, well, he dies anyways, who cares?
Maybe it was an homage to Fallout. Like, get it? Hey, Fallout, remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this game looked great. The lighting was great and fantastic. The character got something out of a car. I don't know what that. I'm not a mechanic. He took something and used it as a silencer on his pistol.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which makes me think that maybe the zombies react to sound.
Yeah, I would think so too. But holy I can't get over how those zombies looked when they were moving. Like in such a large group like that.
They look terrifying.
They look fucking scary.
A lot of them are running on their hands and on their hands and feet.
And they were not slow zombies. And at every single time, like, and they were constantly like right on his ass.
Mm-hmm. He could barely get away. And I loved it. That was Days Gone. It looks great so far. That's a twofer. Like, I'm excited for both those games. Let's move on to Last Guardian. I wrote, it still looks great. Are we gonna get a release date? And then yes, October. Fucking finally.
It's pretty soon.
We can finally touch this game with our hands.
I know, right?
We can finally watch this creature die.
Yeah. We,
Oh,
unfortunately, we can't, but we, the gaming community, can.
Yes. That little baby griffin is dead, right? Like he's
one would assume
he is just resigned to death because he's cute.
I have the theory that that's just one of the like game overs cutscenes.
Yeah, maybe.
But
that if you fuck up, the griffin dies, and then that means I'm just restarting the whole save, right?
Like, if you fuck up, you actually have to sit through a cutscene of you fucked up. Look at what you did.
Look at this thing die. Look at it take its last baby griffin breaths. You horrible monster.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm definitely, finally, this game's come out after how many years? Finally, I'm so excited.
3 for 3.
3 for 3.
3 for 3 on the games.
Detroit Almost Human. No, not Detroit Almost Human. We'll get to that. Horizon Zero Dawn, which is the Cyber Cave Lady game, which is,
also looks cool.
It looks great. It looked great last year, and I was intrigued last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, when are we going to get this? And they were like, no. And I was like, alright. Yeah, hot dog. Are we going to hear about that game this year? Yes, we did. And did it get a release date for this year?
I didn't see a release date. So.
It looked a lot more finished this time, though. Writing things look cool. She's riding a mechanical bull at one point. Not in the way you think. Get your mind out of the gutter. She's riding a bull like a steed. And everything is mechanical in this world. Robots are a big theme of this year's E3. So everything is robots. There was these robot-like animals. And I wrote in my notes about this. Wonder what the story is here. Far Cry Primal Monster Hunter with robots. It was... She even had this weird, like, her bow looks primitive, but it's like a cyber bow.
Yeah.
And, like, she's destroying these monsters, these robot monsters, to take their parts. And, like, a guy runs up to her at some point and goes, oh, a demon showed up. And she's like, yeah, that's bullshit.
I love the juxtaposition of, like, this, like, ancient, primal, like, furs and stones and stuff with this, like, super high-tech neon, like, squeaky clean metal and Apple store looking stuff. I love how like they found a way to put both of those things together, which are drastically opposites, and made it work.
Yeah, me too. I like that a lot. It looked really cool, and I love her reactions to the guy about the demon, which makes me think, what's the story? The story sounds interesting. The fact that she knows that these aren't demons, but he doesn't. Like, is this a different dimension? What's going on? I want to know the story.
Is she a time traveler or something?
This is one of those this is one of the few games I'm intrigued with the story. I think all the games from Sony, I'm intrigued with all of the stories.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Detroit Almost Human. And as a detective story this time, it looks like they're different little tiny snippets of stories. Yeah. Earlier this month we saw a different trailer for this.
Yeah, I'm assuming that like the game is full of chapters and each one of those chapters is a different main character, or we alternate between the detective guy we saw in this one and the girl we saw in the teaser trailer before. Good ass teaser trailer, by the way.
That teaser trailer was like a mini movie.
Yeah.
You know, it was what do they call those? Tech
demos. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a tech demo, and it was so good. I was really intrigued in the story, like these robots that have sentience, and they're trying to give them the Asimov treatment of, here are the rules of being a robot. Again, robots.
Yeah.
Here are the rules of being an android,
And
and
they're fighting for their rights and stuff.
yeah, and it's like,
Nice.
but we have feelings and we're alive. We're not just, you know. But it's like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to just be a tool. What the fuck do you mean feelings? So this is interesting from that perspective. Again, the story looks great. After watching a bunch of Super Beard Bros play L.A. Noir,
Check them
I'm
out, by the way.
check please. Giving them the rub.
Giving them the rub.
I really love. After watching a bunch of LA Noir from the Beard Bros, I was like, man, I'm about a new detective game. So seeing that got me hyped.
Yeah.
The woman that they showed before doesn't really have much as far as gameplay to do.
I mean, maybe she does, and we just haven't seen enough of her character.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that is the case. I'm hoping that they give her a story and things to do. This bloke seems like he has a whole detective story. Maybe she's just a freedom fighter. Maybe she's like,
I imagine that's the case. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
and-
two opposites of the same coin.
yeah. Maybe it's just two stories and not a bunch of
Like
stories.
he's fine with the servitude, and she isn't, and then you see both sides of the story.
Yeah. That I'm fucking hype. Again, I'm hype. Hype train. What is that? Like 4 games already?
Yeah.
4 for 4. Hype train.
4 for 4.
There was a really creepy trailer, and it starts out with nothing that you know, and it's creepy, and it's like I'm like, wow, did they do PT? Did they do Silent Hill?
I got all like, where's the phone's not lighting up? What's the matter? Is this my ringtone? What's going on?
There's a dilapidated house, and I'm like, this is Silent Hill. This is a Silent Hill game.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I was like, all right,
this is how the fuck? This can't be a Silent Hill, but it's a Silent Hill.
I was like, when did Konami pull their heads out of their asses to make a Silent Hill? This is amazing. Good job, Konami. Maybe they finally decided to do PT. Nope. Nope. Resident fucking Evil. What? Resident Evil 7 looks horrifying. It looks so scary. I'm kind of scared to play it.
You could tell the audience was pleased as punch.
There was like an audible gasp in the room when they released the name, when they showed
Like
the name
a
on the
pleasure
screen.
gasp.
It was like, whoa, whoo, what?
Finally, another scary Resident Evil after how long? And they went all in Silent Hill style into this.
Yeah.
God damn.
They all of a sudden were just I personally like the dumb action movie Silent Hill garbage. That's my jam. But I'm fine with this. This looks terrifying.
Yeah.
I
mean, I wouldn't play it, but
No.
like, I'm really glad for the people who've like been begging for another scary Resident Evil instead of an action Resident Evil.
Yeah, and I think they bit off too much of what they can chew after the movies were really successful in Japan.
Now, what would be bullshit is if they turned around now and in the next trailer reveal, oh, it's just another action game,
I don't think
and
so.
then this is just the intro.
After that reaction, I don't think so. I think they saw the reaction.
Already.
That's true, but I think that they saw the reaction of Silent Hill's PT and went,
I'm assuming.
"Wait a
that
minute,
that's
we
the
know.
case too, but...
Yeah, this is how we can make money." I think they saw dollar signs when they saw the reaction to that trailer.
And how furious people were when Konami pretty much put the Ixnay on everything about it.
Yeah, they were like, "Let's hurry up and grab that audience. Let's just snatch up that audience."
We have a franchise ready to go for it. Let's just do that.
Yeah. No zombies, but maybe the zombies will show up later and scare the shit out of us.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they're saving the zombies because the zombies are probably like redesigned to look even more fucking creepy,
Probably, yeah.
and they want that to be like a legitimate like holy shit moment for players when they actually boot it up and get to the zombie.
Yeah.
They want to save that for the audience and not give it away in a trailer. At least I'm hoping so.
I'm hoping for that too. Okay, next game on here, Farpoint, and I said kind of looked like Gears plus big monsters. Yeah, it was like a Gears of War kind of thing with giant monsters. This one I wasn't really interested in. It looked like every other game. It looked sort of new. It looked like every other game with a new coat of paint. So I wasn't really that enthused about it. I think I need to see more.
I think this is the first game on the list so far that we've went down that like it might not have a really big buzz about it, but doesn't look bad anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
It doesn't look bad. I doubt it's going to have nearly the amount of buzz around it as everything else we've listed so far.
Yeah. Okay, so Star Wars VR. They did a whole VR segment of the show. The VR. What do you think of the Sony VR headset? The way it looks. I think it looks a little bit too Apple Store, like you mentioned before.
It's very Apple Store. It's very blue LED lights.
and white and clean, and I get that that's what you're going for, but I don't know.
Squeaky clean.
It doesn't fit the console the way it looks. You know, it doesn't look a matching set with the PlayStation 4. It looks like it actually belongs to the Xbox Slim. If you want to be honest,
it doesn't look like a matching set with it. It is not color. It is not color coordinated.
no, it looks like a Wii product, like a Nintendo Wii situation.
Yeah.
All right, so the Star Wars VR looks interesting. There's space battles, and all the VR looks cool. You have your Star Wars was the thing that was the most that I wrote down here because that was the most impressive. Like everybody who hasn't want to have fly fucking what are those called again?
The TIE Fighters?
Yeah, who hasn't wanted to fly a TIE Fighter? So now you get your chance to fly a TIE Fighter, and it feels like it's real and good. You finally get what you wanted. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the trailer, the gameplay I saw was boring, but it was not offensive. Like, people were like, this is the worst game of all time! And I'm tired of Call of Duty doing the same thing over and over. First of all, this is not the same thing over and over. This is totally a new direction for Call of Duty. For once. And
VR,
now you guys are pissy about it?
The VR, for one thing, inherently kind of makes it a little bit... No, not the same.
Yeah.
And not that I'm a big fan of Call of Duty, just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah.
And yeah, beyond that, like I'm not interested in Call of Duty, but I don't see the point to like go out of my way to hate it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Fuck, man, move on.
Yeah. They also had Final Fantasy 15 VR, which I commented that I'm surprised they didn't call it Final Fantasy XVR.
Because that branding is it just brands itself. It just writes itself. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't know why they didn't do it. I don't know what they're doing. Final Fantasy fucking 15 looks like a train wreck.
But it looks
not a train wreck. It looks like they're putting too many eggs in that basket. Again.
The idea that like you can jump from first person perspective between all the party members is an interesting idea, I guess.
Yeah.
But
again, they didn't learn from Final Fantasy.
I'd like to see how the fuck they explain the in-game like rationale behind why you can do that.
Well, because it's a role-playing game. It's RPG, right? You can always do that. But not do it the way not visually, but that's what you were doing. I don't think that they should put all their eggs in the basket because it's the mistake they made with Final Fantasy 13 and going, hey, let's make 100 Final Fantasy 13 games. People will love it. And then that game fucking flopped like a pancake. And then they were like, let's do it again. It's not bad. It's not a bad looking game. It's just, oh boy, it's
risky.
It's risky. I'm gonna wait and hear what's going on with reviews and stuff. Are there gonna be more 20-hour walking segments through corridors? You know?
Yeah.
Did they actually fucking learn something for once here? Who knows?
I hope they took all the criticism of the last one to heart.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right, so they're doing Crash Bandicoot Remastered. Awesome.
I'm really happy for the Crash Bandicoot fans out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
We didn't get the new Crash Bandicoot game that was rumored for forever, but
they're gonna put him.
Good, right?
They're gonna put him in Skylanders, which is sort of new.
This is almost as good.
Yeah.
Right?
This is like that time when they put Mario and Sonic in the Olympic Games and said, now you can have them go against each other. And it was like, wow, let down.
This is not what we fucking wanted.
But it's going to be remastered. It's going to look great. And that's good. I'm happy for the Crash Bandicoot fandom. Then they're going to do Skylanders Imaginators. And I wrote, how does it work? 3D printing? And then Beef had a great idea of how I think he thinks they'll do it.
I can't remember what it was.
That you can go and buy different little pieces of stuff at a, little act like legs and a torso and arms and a head and then put it all together?
Yeah, what I'm assuming it is that, like, you buy the pieces individually and then you scan them in individually and then that adds it to, like, a list of assets you have in-game that you can mix and match. Yeah. I'm assuming that's how it works.
I've seen a bunch of little games like that at Comic-Con when I went. They have, like, a lot of little mix-and-match action figure fun things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, WWE just stepped into that ring with theirs. Like, you can make Seth Rollins a samurai.
Well, theirs is fucking absurd, but it's great.
Yeah. Alright, so, Lego Force Awakens. And I said, damn, that was quick. And
yes, it was.
That was Phasma's entire arc. What I mean is there's a scene where I think Chewbacca just puts her in a garbage can. And I'm like, yep, that's it, that's Phasma. That's the whole story. And a single tear runs down my cheek because
you don't know that.
I'm sad. Oh yeah, I'm thinking she's coming back, but so far that's her entire arc. She's in a trash can. I loved Kylo Ren's room with his Darth Vader lamp.
That was great.
It was great. I loved that.
I love the fucking Lego game humor.
Me too. It's so ridiculous.
Lego humor in general is just funny.
It is. All right.
Officially licensed Lego humor. Let me just
not just
clarify.
your cousin Steve's Legos.
Yeah.
And his fun with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Officially licensed Lego comedy
for the Lego games and Lego accessories
and movie.
Yes, and movies. There's gonna be another one.
Movies.
Kojima is gonna use Norman Reedus. God damn it, is what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah, Kojima showed up and everyone went ballistic, and they were like, "Thank you, bless. We got you away from those terrible fucking pieces of garbage."
Slay King Slay.
Yes.
And he did. They showed this trailer that was full of metaphor and what the fuck's going on.
And
Norman
weird trippy
Reedus.
visuals.
We saw Norman Reedus' CGI butt.
We did see CGI keister.
Yeah, and we saw him give birth to a CGI baby? Question mark?
Well, not give birth. It's like implied that it was cut out of him.
He had an umbilical
Like
cord.
he had a weird CG. He had a weird like CGI. Norman Reedus had like the world's worst C-section.
I don't know what's happening in this, and it's not. I'm sure this is all just metaphor because most of the
And there was a shitload of dead fish and whales and sea animals, and there was oil everywhere, and he had handprints all over him from invisible people, and it was fucking trippy.
Yeah, Kojima loves metaphor, and I think that's all this was. I can't wait to see what the fuck it means.
Yeah, and if nothing else, even if you're not interested in the metaphor, at least take it in as really fucking trippy, weird ass visuals, man, because that's what it was.
And you gotta see CGI Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
So, fuck you, Konami. We get CG Norman Reedus anyway.
I know.
Suck a dick.
The casting of him in this game feels like it absolutely feels like it's a fuck you, and I'm glad.
Good. I hope so. I hope it is. Fuck Konami. Hashtag fuck Konami.
Hashtag fuck Konami.
It's called Death Stranding.
No double K. Single K. Fuck Konami.
Okay, yeah. It's called Death Stranding, so keep your eyes out for that title.
Yes.
Alright, so...
I'm curious about what the title even means.
Yeah, is he stranded on an island? Is it like Castaway? What's going on?
Is he in limbo?
Yeah.
What's going on? What does the baby mean? I'm confused.
Is he the baby? Are we the baby? Is the baby us?
Is the baby PT and he's rescuing it?
Yes. And then, when he delivers the baby into the world, it's the new Resident Evil 7. And it comes full circle.
Yes. It grows up.
Death Stranding is a trailer for Resident Evil 7, starring Norman Reedus.
Good.
Yeah. The most good. Alright, so, the next thing I wrote was Spider-Man looks good.
As much as we'd love to keep talking about Death Stranding, there was really... Like, there's a shitload to talk about, but there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
It's really fucking weird. Like, we can go on all day about that weird-ass trailer, but we would be able to draw literally nothing from it.
Yeah. There were dudes in the sky.
Except that Kojima has his own game now.
Yeah.
And this is it.
Death Stranding, yeah. Alright, so Spider-Man, everything looks good with the Jizz Spider. I don't like the white Jizz Spider on his chest. I don't like it.
It just looks like they decided to put the Venom Spider logo on top of the regular Spider-Man.
They were like...
I wasn't going as dirty as you were going with it.
No.
But like, it literally just looks like they took the black Spider-Man suit and just made it the color coding of the red and blue suit, but kept the white spider.
Like, I'm imagining they were just playing with their assets, trying to figure out a costume, and then somebody went, hey, and then clicked and dragged over the Venom Spider, and went, done.
Yeah.
New game.
So it seems like I really don't like that costume at all.
That costume looks terrible. Hopefully there'll be a way to change the costume. Maybe you can unlock different ones.
Custom skins.
Yeah.
Which there probably will be. There usually is.
I bet they're going to be microtransactions. Had to add in, you too can get a different Spider-Man costume. Please save me from this costume. You want to be saved? $1 for the Venom costume.
No buy if they don't include the Amazing Bagman.
Oh, fucking, yeah. 100%. The Amazing Bagman is the only costume that should be in the game. It should just be the Amazing Bagman game. Nothing really, except for a couple of, a trailer, like a gameplay trailer. It looked really cool. Spider-Man moves really well.
If that even was gameplay.
Yeah.
because it could have just as easily been pre-rendered cutscenes.
Yeah.
It was hard to tell, but I think it was pre-rendered cutscenes. But if it's at all indicative of the kind of action that they're going to try and represent in the gameplay, it looks great. But again, hard to go off of just a CG trailer.
Yeah.
So
It was okay though, from what I saw, and that was it from Sony. They came out, they had the orchestra play them off, they brought down a curtain and ended the conference, which was a bit anticlimactic. Actually, they showed a combo video of all their stuff first, and then they dropped the curtain. Nothing else from the devs.
did they seriously close with Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Huh.
They didn't close with Spider-Man, they closed with a video montage of all their other games.
And
Spider-Man came before that, though, yes.
They actually had Days Gone before the video package, but we already talked about Days Gone because I didn't want to have to loop back to that. I just wanted to get that out there because I was really impressed by the visuals of what they were doing with that. But yeah, I'd say that Sony did a really fucking good job this year.
Yeah, Sony so far, I think
Sony is the best showcase so far. Not like
it edged out Microsoft barely.
it edged out Microsoft barely as far as like what they had in order, like what they had to offer, but they edged out Microsoft by a lot based on that combined with their presentation and what they chose to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So
They didn't focus on teraflops.
So Sony is basically comes down to a question at this point: can Nintendo outdo Sony? Because if they didn't, Sony wins E3.
Yeah. Nintendo, I'm honestly don't think they can because they're saying, hey, we don't have much of Zelda, and that's all we have, and it's like, because
But
Sony,
they might drop some surprises on us too.
Yeah, Nintendo usually does the Nintendo, they have their own conference, like, outside of this, so it's like, we're probably gonna get little to nothing, and I'm already kind of bummed out because it's gonna be the first one without, Iwata.
We will discuss the Nintendo one in the Nintendo video.
Yes, and that is going to take place.
And that is going to take place
Later on today.
Later.
Yeah, later on.
Way later, but later.
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 I can actually take a breath now.
Yeah, we can go do things and go to sleep and eat our food and do whatever it is we do when we're not doing one of these.
Yeah, finally, we can live again.
We can go, we have permission to live.
We're free.
Thank you for giving us your time.
Yes, and prepare to give us a little bit more tomorrow or later today with Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you enjoyed our layman's common man opinion of this kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. And that's it. Thanks.
You guys all take care. Bye-bye.